Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to my deep guide, and in today's video we have a device from Bigme and it is called the B751C. This is a 7-inch Kaleido 3 powered color e-reader with an octa-core CPU, Android, bunch of functionalities. It's actually note-taking capable as well, and it has a cover, it has a pen, and all for $285. Seemingly an excellent value. So let's unbox it, and this video is unboxing and first impressions, of course, only. Once I do finish with this, then I'm gonna be able to test it out more in depth and bring you a separate in-depth review with all of the data, testing and measurements that I normally do on my deep guide. So please keep that in mind, that it's first impressions and unboxing only. This device has been kindly sent to me by Bigme, but this is not a sponsored video. So this is a review loan device. Once I'm finished, I'm gonna ask them to send it back to them or to whoever else needs to be reviewing the device, and yeah, that way I get to keep my own integrity, and also Bigme or no one actually gets to have a say about the content of the video. Nobody sees the video before it's actually launched, so everybody sees the video at the same time as you do. That integrity and that independence is made possible by your support. As you can see, there's no sponsors or anything like that. So you liking the video, you subscribing to the channel, and especially you going to mydeepguide.com/shop and actually checking out and maybe purchasing either the MDO, My Daily Organizer, helps you organize your yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, professional or personal needs, or MMP, which is My Deep Guide Meeting Planner. Again, hyperlinked PDF file that helps you centralize, simplify, and organize all of your meeting planning needs. So if you check out one of those, or you buy one of those, you directly help and support the independence of My Deep Guide. So thank you so much for that. And now onwards with checking out the Bigme B751C. Well, just as I thought that I was done with filming for today and I actually started editing, ding dong comes the DHL and brings me the package that I was actually waiting for, but I thought that it wouldn't get here in time for the YouTube recording day, but it did. And the device in question is the JD Reed Bigme B751C. That is the color version of their 7-inch note-taking capable device from Bigme, and this is a Kaleido 3 device, if I am not mistaken, with 4 GB of RAM, 64 GB of storage. It's a very nice package. I have to say that I really like the overall kind of vibe of this. It feels good and it looks kind of pretty. It's not overstated, it's not understated, it's just like a really nice balance. The thing that I do kind of miss a little bit is a bit more information about the specifications of the device on the back here, because that would have been a nice thing to see, but okay. So let's start. The package, I think that the price is listed $275 US dollars, but they say there's $289 US dollars. So it's somewhere a little bit under $300 US dollars for the whole package, right? That you get the device, that you get the pen, note-taking capabilities, Kaleido 3, and a cover. Well, let's open it up. Nice packaging all around. I guess we have these two things. I guess this is the cover and I guess this is the device. So let's get the cover first out. Very nice packaging. I really like the whole impression here. Yep, we got the cover, which looks good. Okay, so nice faux leather feel. This feels really cheap, actually. This doesn't give me a nice feel. And there is no stitching here, just glue, and that is a pen holder. So I don't know, that my first impression was this feels nice, but this on its own doesn't feel that nice. Okay, so we don't have any magnets or anything. We have a bucket design, This is nice and flexible plastic, which is actually good. And I like when I see the covers of this type, which basically double as a flipbook cover and a little bit of a case, because it does cover the sides of it. And we'll see if the height actually extends a little bit over the height of the device. And seeing how we have these little notches here to hold the device in place, it looks like it's a good design. Overall feel, this is really nice and smooth kind of feeling here. Somewhat sharp edges, but we'll see if they are annoying. These edges are maybe a bit too sharp, so maybe we encounter the same problem like we did with the MobiScribe Wave Colors thing. And we have a very shiny Bigme logo here and nothing on the back. I would prefer to see a little bit more quality, but again, for the price, I guess that's what we have to kind of expect. Now let's check out the main contender here. So we got our device here and it says page turning buttons with a split in between. Yes. Ooh, they feel really nice and clicky. Listen. And are these metal or they just, I don't know. I don't think they are, but they feel really cool. They feel really, really, really good. And I like that they're of a different color, and I love the clickiness. Yeah, I have to move away from the clickiness, but I love it. Love the clicky. Stop it. All right, so we have page turning buttons with, that was the whole point. Stop being distracted. The point was that it has a distance between the two buttons, which is something that I always thought that for example, the main competitor from books would be the page. That one also feels really good, but it has buttons right next to each other. This one has the little space, and I really, really like that. All right, then we have USB Type-C interface, indicator light on the side, a microphone here, TF slot. Ooh, cool. One speaker and power button. Fragile screen. Please handle with care. Avoid dropping. Yes. Do not place heavy objects on the product. Extremely important. And do not squeeze. Okay, so it's not a squeegee. Cool. So that's the device. We get a pen. Is this an active or a passive pen? We will see, but it has two buttons. Oh no, and an LED indicator, so this might be actually a non-EMR pen. We'll see, I don't know. In this tiny little one, you get two replacement nibs, nib extractor tool, and the micro SD card or TFS card tool. Got quick start and warranty cards, and a USB-C to USB-A cable, fairly short, meh quality. So in the package you get the device, the USB-C cable, the pen, the two extra nib slots, nib extraction nib extraction tool, TF card slot tool, and also quick start and warranty guide. More on the nibs themselves. They don't appear to be of a normal standard, so it looks like that pen is not going to be capable of actually using extra nibs that you would normally have from Remarkable books, etc., etc. And that's most definitely a negative point, because that's that might make it harder to kind of find replacement nibs for that. So something to kind of keep in mind. All right, let's clear that up and focus on this little dude. All right, let's get it out of the cover carefully, because this needs to go back. Okay, there. I think we can just slide it out. And here we finally are. So here is the, what's the name? B751C. B-17 Bomber. B751. It looks really elegant. I love the fact that it has the equal bezel around the edge, and that it has this slight coloration on the side. And I absolutely love the contrast of the button. And as I've already said, I have to refrain from clicking the buttons because I love the clicky, the tactile feel of these buttons is so satisfactory. It just feels tight and really, really good. The side here actually feels like it's metal. So the execution is really, really precise, and it feels like a premium type of a device, and it actually looks like a combination. So down here we have the SD card or TF card slot, then we have the microphone, we go over to the USB-C interface, we have a single speaker, then we go to the top where we have the power button, and that's pretty much it, and nothing on the other side. If we flip the device over to the back, it's a very clean, completely clean affair. There's no even legal mumbo jumbo, and we have these ridges here on the side, which are, I guess, here to provide for, yeah, very nice comfortable feel when reading and holding the device. Holding the device in the hand, for such a small size, it feels heavier than it looks. That's my first impression. I don't know if it's the metal thing or maybe it has a larger battery, but overall it feels a little bit more weightier than I would imagine, so that's the first impression, but it's not too heavy. However, I wouldn't want this to fall on my head if I'm lying down reading and then it falls, because it has a metal edge and because it has some substantial weight. Overall, the design of it, I really like how it feels and how it looks. What's the reflectivity like? These are super bright lights, and it seems to be good. I'm just gonna turn it over to the window, and let me just see if I can. This is the window now, and yeah, that's perfectly fine. The screen is 7-inch and it has 300 ppi black and white, 150 ppi resolution, color resolution ppi, so standard Kaleido 3 kind of configuration stuff. One thing that I don't like is that it seems to be, because it's a dark color, it seems to be fairly fingerprint happy. The back is not that bad at all. The back is actually quite good. There we go, camera picks up, it kind of gets a little smudged up, so something to keep in mind. The clarity of the image seems to be good. So that's the device first impressions of unboxing. I really like how it looks. I really like how it feels, and it feels like a lot more than 275 or 285 US dollars with the pen and this included. Let's first fire it up and see what we get. By the way, while it's doing that, I'm going to comment a little bit more on the pen. The pen is of an active type, and it cannot be charged. It uses a quad A type of battery, sort of like the Surface Pen and all the other active pens that you know and don't like. This is aluminum, I think, thick aluminum. This is plastic on the back. Doesn't have an eraser here, but it does have two buttons and a power indicator as well. And I assume that one is a function button and the other is going to be the eraser button. And here in the front we have this nib, which does feel like a soft type of felt kind of nib. It is fairly thick, well, but that's like a standard thickness of these types of pens. And the balance of the pen is mid-ish, kind of like a middle. Yep. So it's okay. It's on the shorter side of things, shorter and a bit stubbier. It's nice and round on one edge, and it's completely flat on this edge here. So that is something that actually could work okay, that you have the comfort of the rounded edge here resting on your palm, and the flat edge here for the finger to kind of easily operate this. The only problem is that this is a little bit of a heavier pen, and I've noticed that with pens of these type and this type of construction, after writing a long time, my hand does have a tendency to get tired. We'll see if that's going to be the case with this one as well. It's just a past experience, and past experience with the pens of this type. Overall, it feels okay. We'll see how it actually works. There's no magnets or anything like that. And there's a... wait a minute. There's a big omission. This is supposed to just fit in here snugly, but there's no clip to hold it. So what happens when this outstretches and over time? Is the pen just gonna... I mean, it's already... it is a tight fit here, so it does fit and hold. But what happens after, you know, several years of using this? Okay, well, that's something to keep in mind. All right, so let's continue with the power up here. Okay. Okay. AI note. All right, so let's Let's see what the initial settings are. Back, home, full refresh, that's okay. I don't want this. Side swipe for the left and right to adjust. I don't actually like this, but this is really similar to how Books has things. Okay, so we have capacitive pen, so it's not EMR. Meh, I don't like capacitive pens. So turning off the support handwriting will hide all handwriting functions of the device, such as handwriting note, global handwriting, etc. You can show or hide handwriting. This is a heavy pen. Handwriting function in the settings center, handwriting setting turn on or off. Okay. Pressure calibration button. Oh, what? Place the pen vertically on the screen with the pen nibs in the contact with the screen. Press and hold two buttons at the same time for 5 seconds, waiting for the flash 2 times. Wait, and then what? Okay, I guess then it's done. Wake up button, short press to wake up before writing the red indicator. What? Short press to wake up before writing. So you have to press number 2 every time before you write to wake it up. Red indicator light will, okay, so it's like a turn on and off. Erase button, long press to switch erase function. Okay. Battery cap, rotate, unscrew the battery, and battery replacement. Ooh, I don't like the suggested functionalities of these buttons and of this pen. This is doesn't seem great. All right, let's hook it up. I don't have an AI Note account, so I'm gonna skip this. Scan the QR code to contact us. What? No, I don't want any of that. I don't want to confirm. What is this? Okay, here we go. So we have instructions here, and that's it. So we can scroll here and do this. Okay, so already now scrolling is quite nice, and while the speed is not phenomenal, the ghosting is not terrible. Let's see, what do we have here? So this is the control center. It's full of stuff. How do you actually adjust this? Well, I'll have to take a look at that, I guess, here in the other. Oh no, that's the other set. That's the, okay, so these are the presets. Night bedding, daytime and bedding, light setting, and this is lights off, and then you have a custom light. Okay, cool. But you can't really see the front light effects in these conditions because there's really bright lights in here. More volume controls. Well, I don't want any volume here, so I want to mute it completely. All right, and I guess these are all of the settings. There's no way to adjust the control settings here. Okay, so this is the shortcut for that. This is the return to home screen. Let's see what we have as far as the app center goes. So we have, okay, so it comes preloaded with a bunch of stuff, maybe too much, maybe a little bit too much stuff. So then we have Office here, where you can, Office documents, so you can work with your documents, XLS and PPT files. That would be interesting to see how do you work with PPT files on this small format. Voice translation, I guess you can just dictate and then it will translate. Then we have cloud functionality, task list functionality. Let's go up. Okay, then we have storage. Okay, so right out of box we got 51.5 gigabytes of available storage out of the 64 gigabytes available. We got notes, example notes already included, and meeting records. Okay, so the overall navigation, while there's certainly a lot to it, I do like this side swiping thing, which actually is working pretty much okay. Let's try and test out the screen functionality and see how it renders the colors and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna log into Google Play, download a couple of stuff so that I can show you some examples so you can see how it actually functions as a reader. All right, so installation of stuff was fairly straightforward, and I had some problems with Google Drive, but I have that on all of the devices. That's a different thing. So I had to hook it up directly to the computer so I can easily transfer stuff, and that worked fine as well. So I transferred the documents to my document folder in here. So I'm just gonna try and see, like, okay, does it find them automatically? And right now, yeah, it sorted out and found all of the stuff that I've transferred, and I can actually easily also go here, like on any Android. I should be able to go here and then see all of my folders here. So here are the documents that I've seen. I mean, these things are hardly good. This doesn't look finished. Download the documents, audiobooks, notifications, podcast screens, hot folder. Definitely room for improvement, and this extends through the whole thing, so it's not that great. Let's now switch to a list view where we can actually see things a little bit more better. The pen seems to be working without me, clicking on it to enable it or anything like that. Let's do the initialization thing which they said. So it's like press until it blinks. So there we go, and it blinked twice. So I've performed that, and I guess that's going to be important for the writing testing. For now, let's just open up a couple of documents and see what's what. So I'm just gonna open, oh, it doesn't have a default, I guess Xreader is the default one. So yeah, let's use Xreader. Yes, okay, fine. So this is fairly pale and small. So let's see how intuitive it is to actually use. I don't have experience with Xreader, so I just want to see, like, how can I handle myself with this one, and does it work the way I would prefer it to. Okay, so this is okay. One thing that's I'm starting to notice now all over the place is that randomly I'm starting to see, I don't know if the camera can pick up, but these are monochromatic images. This is a monochromatic document for sure. However, there's like color, almost like, yeah, like errors going through in the rendering of the documents, so something is off. And I've seen that in Google Play as well when I was going through the icons and things like that. That's something that's absolutely present. So let's try and see if a manual refresh. No, that's a setting for, I guess, maybe here. That's a refresh. No, it didn't get rid of it. So that's definitely something that's present. Responsiveness is fairly quick. Okay, so it's actually really quick. Is it consistent? Somewhat consistent. So this actually is good. And as you can see, the ghosting performance is really, really good. So we're switching now between images and everything here. And I can see it kind of flickering to clear things up. And it, even though it doesn't have a BSR, there we go. It just, see that kind of flicker, whoop, and then it cleans it up. So they have apparently a really good technology here to achieve a lot of speed without a BSR thing that Books is doing that kind of consumes a lot of battery. And yeah, I think they're simply utilizing the octa-core CPU and some smart programming to instruct the screen to do a lot of things to actually dynamically clear up what it needs. And the end result is that you as a user don't really need to care about different modes. I was able to simply open up a document and start using it, and I don't have any ghosting issues here. So in a normal document, it seems to be working fine. So let me just see if I can adjust the formatting to something a little bit more better. So for example, this is matching the width, and yes, it works. This is good. What I'm looking for is that if you match width, that the previous and next page commands will actually slide through the page. So that works. How does it work with the auto orientation? If it has it, does it have auto orientation? Let's see here. Split screen, screen rotation. There we go. So okay, so that's turned on, so that might work now. Yep, that works. Cool. So that's okay, and this is good. But here we see the interpretation of the, yeah, you can clear as day see it here. This is a black and white image, but it has these color artifacts, which is absolutely for sure an rendering interpretation challenge that this device seems to have. So readability is nice, especially for a low format like this. It's really important for this functionality for PDFs that you're able to fit the width and read it in the landscape format, and then this actually works really good. So now I can use the buttons, and it's very, very responsive. And despite the size, again, I really like the black frame here, and I really like the arrangement of the device. And now this ridge is starting to make a lot more sense, because it actually just shows that this device is almost designed to be used in landscape orientation, because that's where the ridge is, that's where the buttons are, and it just really works really, really well in this kind of configuration. All right, so this first type of thing is really, really good, and I really like how it works. The only thing is that the color interpretation of the images is a little kind of weird. All right, let's open up a document that has a mixture of, let's always use the X reader. I like how it works. Again, a test of how is the device able to actually deal with something like this. And in this case, I'm gonna format the whole page. So let's see and how it works. Again, yep, very, very solid performance. I don't see any ghosting here, and the color interpretation is actually really good. So let's flip it to the side. Landscape orientation. Ooh, okay. Well, that's broken. So the scaling is, yeah, it doesn't keep the proportions. So I guess you need to kind of fit height or width. So I'm just gonna fit the width. And we get to have, let's see if that's ghosting. No, that's something to do with the color interpretation here. Hopefully this is something that they can kind of fix with an update. I'm pretty sure that they can, but there is something with the color interpretation and rendering that's not exactly right. And you can clearly see the mixture here, how it's not really a clear color, and it's just kind of, it has some bleedings of red pixels and things like that, and it's a little bit weird. Other than that, the text is actually really crisp and clear, despite it being very, very small. And this is a tiny, tiny format, but that's those 300 ppi that actually work really well. So let's do and keep on working here. The performance seems to be actually equally responsive with the tabs or the buttons, and it doesn't seem like the device actually doesn't mind if you switch between tap, flip, or a button press type of response. So this is really, really cool. I'm just gonna zoom in all the way so that you can see a fixed frame of image quality for the characters. All right, so far the B17 Bomber 51C is performing it's giving me a really, really positive first impression here. So let's see how does it handle pure color content here. So let's do the regular. Okay, this is already fit. And here we're starting to kind of struggle with dithering, and the ghosting is a little off. It's not bad, it's not terrible, and it's doing a decent job. But yeah, here again we have a problem with the color rendering. So the greens and the reds, it looks like there's a bleed through of the red stripes of the overlay on the Kaleido, and that there's something not quite right, because you can actually see in the canopy of the trees here, you can see red pixels showing through, and that is most certainly not the case with the image that we have here at hand. So that is a consistent thing. Yeah, here's again some bleed through with the reds here, not the case in the real image, and that's something that they will have to kind of sort out with the updates. Okay, so let's flip it to landscape and see how does it handle like this. Okay, so overall I'm testing ghosting. So this is like the worst case scenario. We have white on the dark, and then you go to a bright one. It's able to actually clear out fairly successfully. So yep, there we go. So this is the normal thing. So overall the image quality is good. It's a little washed out, and I'm not a fan of the dithering. I wish, or the lack of dithering. And yeah, the biggest impression for me is basically that color handling and the red bleed through that we see, and you can see it in some cases quite a lot, and here we have quite a bit of ghosting issues and things like that. So I of course expected that the device is going to have more problems with color content, because that's what Kaleido 3 panel is. So Kaleido 3 will struggle with full-on color content and the ghosting issues and things like that. This is ultimately the test of how the technology has been implemented in the device, and coming from MobiScribe Wave Color 3, which just showed how good that implementation of Kaleido 3 panel was done. Here we have another device that's using same technology, Kaleido 3, yes, smaller size, but it's the same technology, yet the implementation is not quite on par with the quality that we're seeing on the Wave Color 3. So that shows that it's definitely possible with software improvements and updates, but the current state of the B751C is not there. The color content, does it work? Absolutely, it works. The colors are a little washed out, but there's still like a washed out paper print, and I don't mind that at all. It actually is good. The only problem that I do have is with that red bleed through that you kind of see, and occasionally ghosting. But the ghosting is not that bad. It just does happen from time to time, which is something to expect. And even if you do have like a really challenging situation like this, for example, it's able to render the characters and everything in a really good way, despite the super small size. And I guess that's thanks to the 300/150 ppi resolution. So reader capability and image performance, that's how it works. Let's now quickly, very quickly go through note-taking, just to see what's the performance of the pen is like, put this whole thing into the cover, and then wrap it up. All right, so let's just start with creating a new note. A new note, I guess I have to press the button. A new note, yes, then you have to wake up the pen with the button. Okay, so we have an empty notebook. I'm trying to find, I guess, canvas. No, but that's going to probably be in layer, template. Let's see, office, maybe, learn. Where's the lines? Like, these are strange categories. There we go. So horizontal 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's try horizontal 3. That seems okay. Can we hide this? Yes, we can. It's really similar to yeah, how the books platform is. That's quite remarkably similar to that. All right, so I'm gonna get rid of the navigation ball if that's easy to do. I mean, if they fall, no, that's not that easy to do. All right, so I'll just move it out of the way here. All right, so let's do a writing example. Oh, okay, no, I refuse. Unfortunately, yeah, the capacitive pens always suffer from the same things. There's simply no comparison to a Wacom-enabled EMR pen from the pressure response, from the precision response, from the latency, from the comfort level. This is simply, unfortunately, the capacitive pen technology is simply not there, and this was a huge problem for me, and the reason why I can't really use or do in-depth reviews of the Kobo Ellipse 2E, for example. It uses the same thing, and the writing is not satisfactory, let's put it like that. Can it do it? Yes, it can. Would I want to ever use this as a writing device? Only if I have absolutely no other options. I feel completely disconnected from the device. The comfort of writing is not there, and I just, when I'm doing the in-depth review, I can already tell you that I'm going to be skipping the battery testing of writing performance, because I can't really do an hour of writing with this. I'm not going to subject myself to that. I didn't do it with the Kobo Ellipse 2E, I'm not going to do it with this one, and I'm not going to do it with any capacitive pen that feels like this. But I frankly think that it's always a waste to actually include so much functionalities and capabilities while your primary input technology is basically flawed. So, and that's unfortunately what we have here. So yes, writing it's capable of writing, but maybe what you're supposed to do with this device is, forget that it has a pen and use it just as a really good 7-inch color e-reader. I know that that's at least how I would use it. And that's, for example, that's the same situation with Kobo Sage. Kobo Sage has the same kind of thing, and it's 8 inches actually. And it's my absolute favorite portable e-reader that I use all the time, despite its shortcomings of the battery. And I use it exclusively as an e-reader. I never use that pen for the same reason, because it uses also the capacitive type pen, and the results are exactly the same. It's just not something that I would ever want to use. So unfortunately, yeah, this device is using that technology and it suffers from the same drawbacks. All right, and the very last thing that's left to do is to check out the cover itself. So normally we have this long edge and tiny little ones on the side here. Whenever you have that, the long edge slots in first, then you just press on the edges here, and this is a nice click, and it seems to be holding the device very nicely. There is a tiny bit of protrusion of these guys to offer a tiny bit of protection should the device actually fall on its face, so that it's not going to be a huge amount of thing, but at least it's something. It's not completely flat, so that is a nice thing to see. Okay, so the flip is auto wake up and sleep, but it has no magnets, and It's very kind of loose, and that's even without the pen actually being attached. The feel of the cover is nice, but this is yeah, this is not great. I think that yeah, that's definitely a bit of a problem, and especially if we put in a pen that's actually quite heavy, and if I just put it like this, then it's drooping all the way down because of that pen. So if I just lift it, nope, down, 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 down. So not only is that ugly, but it's also a material fatigue on this point here over time, and on this one here. So I am this is not a super strong type of material, so there's a possibility of damage as well over time. The pen is really heavy, and having such a heavy pen on the end of this cover really doesn't feel nice at all. There's no magnets to hold the cover in the back, and when I put it down here, it's under this angle because the pen is simply there. I could maybe push it here, but it doesn't want to go there. It wants to go back here. So this is where the cover wants to go, and this is what it kind of looks like. So yes, the cover is included, and yes, the pen is included, but the quality and the design leaves something to be desired. So as an example of a very similar kind of approach, we do have the MobiScribe Wave, but they've employed this magnetic holder here, and that basically holds this flap in place. While it does move, it doesn't move that much on its own, and more importantly, the pen is basically hooked up to the inside of this of the whole holder here, and yeah, that frees up the front to be actually used normally, that it can lie flat and all of these kinds of things. So overall, it's just a better design, much better quality here than what we have here in the example of Bigme. This simply isn't designed well. This is not designed well, and the materials used are not that good. That being said, I wouldn't use the pen with this device. I wouldn't use the pen with this cover, and in all honesty, if I were to use this device, I would just gonna drop the pen and cut this off and try and use it as a normal e-reader. That's basically what I think its strong points are. Positives of the cover: it exposes the USB-C, the speaker, the power button, the micro SD card, and the microphone. So everything that's meaningful is exposed and usable, so you can use it. But would you want to use it? I don't know. And even with the pen, like, if I'm just holding the device and it ends up looking like this, I mean, this is not something that I want to look at all the time. I don't know about you guys, but for me, that's not really pleasant to have this kind of misalignment. It's not, especially not when you have a device that's actually really precise and really nicely done. So as soon as I get away from that cover, it's a very nice device and a very different story. Overall conclusion time of the first impressions. $275 or $289 for the entire package. You get a 7-inch Kaleido 3 powered note-taking capable device with an octa-core CPU, 64 gigabytes of storage, expandable with an SD card, 4 gigabytes of RAM. So on paper, all of that seems to be really good. It's not all about just the specs or just the paper and things like that. It's about the entire vision for me and the execution of the whole thing. And for me, the pen itself and this cover is basically like it symbolizes exactly what what's missing from the device, and that's a lack of vision. It seems like they've tried to put in as much as they possibly could for as cheap of a price to kind of have it, and then to market it to the market as, hey, this is like the biggest and the best value that you can possibly have for the buck. And I think that that's true with the octa-core CPU and everything else, yes, on paper you get all of that. So on paper it is a value, but how big of a value is it if what you actually get is not a pen that's perfectly usable because it's using technology that's not really suitable for that kind of thing, and it's really not that good, so you end up not using it? What good of the value is it if the cover that is included, while it functions and it looks pretty, it has some issues that make you not want to use it? And in reality, what you're gonna have is $285 or $89 or $75, depending on, I don't know, I get conflicting informations from Bigme. So basically, in reality, for me at least, if I were to buy this, I would not use either the cover or the pen. Like, absolutely 100% sure I will never use that because they're simply not good, and they're not satisfactory. So I would end up with a 7-inch color e-reader that is really nicely built, really nicely designed, and it performs really, really well, especially if they fix that interpretation of the color. And then I would have paid, let's say, $289. That's what they said, right? For just the device. However, for $340, I can get a 7.8-inch device that has probably the best color interpretation and calibration of any Kaleido tree screen that device screen that I've seen. Has an excellent EMR pen and excellent writing capabilities with excellent, the latency and everything. It's just really, really good. And it has a perfectly good and capable flipbook cover that actually doubles as a case as well, and it doesn't suffer from any of those issues. Yes, the portability factor is a humongous one, but let's zoom out here. And for me, like, my kind of take on this is that yes, this is great value for $285 because you get this and this, like all of it, right? But it's is it such a value if I'm never going to use this and I'm never going to use that, and I end up using just this? That's the question about value for me. So it's not just about what's on paper, but what you can actually use, and that, to me, as first impressions at least goes, quite a bit of a negative impression on the flipbook cover, and especially on the pen itself, because that is one of the major selling points. And I think that they could have gotten it even cheaper if they just didn't bother with the note-taking aspect for this kind of thing, because this thing is suited to be a reader and it's just meant to be that. So I'll give it a bit more of a chance and a bit bigger dive in to kind of see what the battery consumption is like. I will do the Desta test with the performance, but I can see with my eyeballs that the latency of writing is really, really bad and the comfort is terrible, and writing aspects I really don't like. There's some aspects here that are not really like, yeah, the quality, build quality impression was good, but listen to this. So there's some squeakiness that I actually noticed when I was writing, and I started to press on it. It started to kind of squeak, and that's not. I've grown used off this kind of thing. It's not something that I normally notice, and actually I can see it here. Maybe the camera can pick it up at some point, but there's a tiny little discrepancy here, and this back panel is not really fitting exactly right. So yeah, there are some issues. It on the first glance and first impressions, it does look good, but once you start to use it, things are starting to kind of rear up their heads. So I'm gonna spend some more time and then bring you an updated in-depth review of the Bigme B751C
B-17 bomber,
and then see, okay, have my first impressions been correct, wrong, regarding all of these things that I've commented, and what are the strong points and what are the weak points of this 7-inch Kaleido 3 powered device. So those are my first impressions of the Bigme
B17 bomber.
751C. Please let me know down in the comments below if you do have the device, what your impressions are. Do you have any questions regarding this device? And if there are things that you would like me to maybe try and cover in the in-depth review. Yeah, do let me know what your first impressions are, even if you don't have it, like from this video and from what you've seen. And also, what is your opinion on the capacitive stylus touch? Like on a device like this, where note-taking is clearly supposed to be like a secondary thing, that this is primarily a reader, but it can also do these things. Do you think that, you know, going for that type of technology and making the writing input feel less than, is that okay? Or is that like a waste of everyone's resources and time? Like for me, my own personal impression is like, if you're gonna have something, do it right? Otherwise, just don't even do it in the first place and use the resources and focus and everything on other things to make a much more focused device, you know? So yeah, that's basically where I stand and what my personal and subjective opinion is regarding this type of thing. So I'm interested to hear about your opinion and your attitude regarding these things. I hope that you found the video informative and or useful. If you did, please like and subscribe and ding the notification bell in the description below. Remember to visit the mydeepguide.com/shop, and thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!